So I just saw Deadpool 2 for the second time about 2 weeks ago, and I'm sorry this isn't going to be a full review.
Chit chat, chit chat, ain't got time for that.
Look, I wanted to make this a full review, but a lot of personal things have come up in the past 2 weeks, and I don't really want to go into it, but I feel that I've waited too long to make this review, so I'm going to make it a quickie and tell you about my favorite parts and give you a rating. Let's start off with the fact that Deadpool 2 is I like it a lot more than the first one, because I'm not a huge fan of exposition, especially when I know how a character started out. I really like when a comic book movie starts like a comic book, and not the origin story, just like a story. There are many, many Deadpool comics where, well, most of them, you don't start with the origin story. You're supposed to know what it is. That's how I like comic book movies. Like, I like the sequels, like Thor 2 or 3 or Spider-Man 2. I like those a lot more than the first movie, because I already know the story. I just want you to get right into the action. But again, that's just a personal preference. Anyway, I really like the story in this one more than the first one. There are times where it's a little like laggy, like about 20 minutes into the movie, there's that prison scene that lasts a little bit too long with not that much action. But the start is strong. There's a little bit of I don't really care, and then just boom, 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 a lot of action, a lot of storytelling, a lot of different bad guys, and I really did enjoy that. I mean, seriously, in this movie, Deadpool and other characters get fucked the fuck up. For example, the trailers for this movie really cock tease you into believing that he's going to put together a team that you're going to be with for the whole movie, but in actuality, they put together X-Force, and then as they're parachuting down to land on the scene that they're going to try and fix and save the main character, well, one of the main characters, kid, all of the characters except one die as they're parachuting down. Domino is the only one to survive. Yeah, I thought that was fucking funny. A lot of people had a problem with this movie and the fact that there are so many different bad guys, but I liked the different flavors of different types of bad guys. They had the fucking pedos, and they had the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut has some of the best scenes in this movie. There's a scene where Juggernaut and Colossal are fighting. Sorry, Colossus. Fuck. Yeah, anyway, one of my favorite jokes in the movie is Juggernaut and Colossus are fighting. Juggernaut picks Colossus up by his feet and says, "I'm gonna melt you down and make a cock ring." And I laughed harder than anyone else in the movie, which was kind of embarrassing, but, There are so many jokes in this movie that I didn't get them all the first watching because I wanted to pay attention to the story, but the second time when I went to go see it, I was a lot more relaxed because I knew what was going to happen, so I listened to more of the dialogue, and I ended up finding more jokes the second time than the first time. So this is definitely a movie I would say is rewatchable, which on my meter gives it another point. This movie has the best after credit sequence I have ever seen in a fucking movie ever. Okay. Cable has this device that lets him slip back in time, but he can only use it once. So, Deadpool gets it from him after the credits. Somehow he gets it from Cable, and he gives it to Negasonic Teenage Warhead and her girlfriend. Apparently she's gay, and they bring her back through many jokes in this movie so that Deadpool can just be like, "Oh, you guys are so cute." But at the end of it, they fix the time dial thing. I don't know what it's called, and Deadpool uses it to go back into the story and save his girlfriend who dies at the beginning of the movie, therefore potentially erases or massively changes a lot of the movie you just saw, which I thought was fucking cool. So then he goes back in time and cleans up the timeline by killing the Abomination Deadpool from the X-Men First Class, I think it is, movie. And that was very cool. Hugh Jackman actually was in the movie. But then he goes back in time and kills himself as Ryan Reynolds as he's looking at the script for the Green Lantern. And that's how they end the movie. But there was going to be one more scene that they shot but decided not to put into the movie because, well, here's what happened. There was a scene where Deadpool goes back and he's in front of baby Hitler in his cradle. And he looks at the camera and goes, "This is kind of questionable." And then fucking unloads into the baby carriage and kills baby Hitler. They filmed it and they were going to put it in the movie, but on hindsight, it's really good they didn't, because who wants to see the protagonist of a movie kill a baby in the last scene, even if it's Hitler? I mean, look, if in a movie, if there's a dog, no one wants to see the dog die. But if you show it as a adorable little puppy, even though you know it's going to turn into Cujo and eat the kid, no one wants to see someone shoot the fucking puppy. And you see, I would like to see what that looked like in the director's cut, but I completely understand why no one else would, and it's probably a good idea they didn't put that in. Yeah, I really love this movie, and I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Because, again, I rate movies on how enjoyable and rewatchable they are, not how great the cinematography is. That's for more intelligent reviewers than me. I'm more of a spoiler channer? Fuck. Long story short, go see this if you haven't. Like in the last video, I said I'm going to tell you how many subscribers I have at the end of every video. In last video, I had 12 subscribers, and now I have 16. So I know that doesn't sound like a lot of build, but for me, I'm counting it as a W, and I'm very appreciative for all of you new watchers. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this and you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm sorry if this video isn't as good as the last ones. I will try hard in the last one because I'll have more time and more access to my actual studio. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.